Yo, there are people out there that will make you believe that knife sharpening is some sort of magic skill that is only reserved for wizards in some fairyland somewhere. Well, I'm here to show you that even us mere mortals can get an old knife that's ready for the garbage can sharp with just a little bit of knowledge and the right equipment. So today I'm going to show you guys how to use this Lansky knife sharpener, and we're going to restore an old knife, and we're even going to sharpen a couple of pocket knives. So let's go ahead and get with it. Y'all stick around. So first off, what I've got here is this Lansky 5-stone sharpener. It's brand new. I just took it out the pack today and put it together. And we've got 5 stones that go from coarse to fine, and the grit numbers are on the outside. And so it's easy enough to read. Now this is an old stainless steel kitchen knife that I keep in my garage. I use it for crawfish boils, cutting open the sacks, chopping lemons and onions, and it just hangs out outside. It's rusted, it's pitted up. We're gonna make this thing cut really like a brand new knife today. In fact, I'm gonna show you just how dull it is. I mean, there's no blade left on it at all. Can't cut a sheet of paper. We're gonna fix that today. Now with this Lansky system, it should be really easy. I used to have one, to be honest with you, 20 or 25 years ago, and when I moved out of my house as a child, I don't know what happened to it. So I just bought this one to go ahead and try and get some knives sharp. So really the only thing that you're gonna have to do to put this together is these pins come in the case, and you got your stones. So the only thing you're gonna need to do is you put your pin into the hole in the stone, and you make sure that it's straight and level. And you're gonna tighten your screw, and you're good to go. So you do that with all of them. Now, with knife blades, like a kitchen knife like this, we're gonna want it at like 17 degrees. And the Lansky sharpener will tell you your degrees. It'll give you holes for your degrees. Now these pocket knives, we're gonna do it 20. Now originally, I did try and fit all of this together earlier. Originally, it comes with this red thumb screw in the hole that is used to tighten it and clamp your knife. But what happens is when you get your knife in there, the red thumb screw will get in the way at 17 degrees. So it does come with another screw in the box. So let's get rid of this thumb screw, and we'll replace that thumb screw with this screw. This will give us the clearance to run it at 17 degrees. Now what we're gonna wanna do is we take our knife and we put it in the jaws. And we are gonna take a screwdriver and tighten it up good and tight, that front screw. And you wanna make sure your knife is pretty straight in there. And then we can tighten the back screw. Now we've got a good solid grip on our knife, and we'll be good to go. Now I did also buy the base for this thing. This is the first time I've used this knife sharpener at all, so I don't really know if I'm gonna like the base. Ooh, in fact I'm not. I mean, maybe if I screw it down to a piece of wood or something, it would make it a little more stable. But so what you do is you take it and put it on our 17, and then we wanna make sure we can reach all the way across the blade, which we can. Now the thing to remember is what you do on one side of the blade, you want to turn it over and do on the other. So if we go 5 times across this blade on this side, we want to turn it over and do the same on the other. Now what we're looking for, especially when we're taking an old knife like this that we're really gonna have to hone it down and use all 5 stones starting with the coarse, is picture the tip of my fingers as the edge of the knife blade. As we start to sharpen or grind on one side, we will get what we call a burr, where the metal will actually curl over. And you'll be able to feel that with your fingers. And what you want to do is you wanna grind down on one side until you can feel that burr all the way across your blade. And once you've got that, you turn it over and do it again. And the lesser down you go in grits, the smaller that burr will get until we get to the super fine, and then we'll even stroke the blade and we'll have it cutting like a razor. So I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna get down on the table and we're gonna start using this and sharpening this old knife. So we got our knife set up. Now the Lansky sharpener does come with a little honing oil. So we're gonna put a couple of drops on the stone and we're gonna try this out. Like I said, I've never used this before, but we'll give it a shot. See if I like it. I may not. Now, I said we're gonna go to 17 and we're just gonna start working this blade. Now we don't want to put too much pressure on it. We just want to kind of let the blade, the stone do its thing. But we want to make sure we go from tip all the way to the end. This knife is going to take some work. Old knife ready for the garbage can, so we're just going to keep working it. All right, we've worked that for quite a few minutes. So we'll go ahead and turn it over and we'll start working the other side. Okay, this old stainless knife was really pitted up and really in bad shape. So it's taken me quite some time, but I'm definitely getting all the burrs and everything out of it. But just make sure whatever you do on one side, you do to the other. Keep it consistent and just keep working it. Now, a lot of people will tell you can only work the stone one direction and it has to be only that direction. You can't drag it away from it, or you got to go that way and can't do the other way. But those are the people that believe that knife sharpening is for mythical creatures. In reality, all you're trying to do is take away some of the metal from the point of this knife. That's what this stone is doing. So it doesn't matter which way you go, how you do it, as long as you do it consistently at the same angle and do the same thing for both sides. So you can work the stone both directions. Okay. So I've got all the pitting now out of this old knife. So I believe the coarse stone, I believe its job is done. So we're just gonna move on to the next one. We're gonna put a little oil in, and now we're gonna start refining this blade. We've got it where the damage is out of it. So now we just wanna get the blade more refined and more refined until we get this thing razor sharp. So we're gonna continue on, putting light pressure and just working this thing back and forth. You want to keep your fingers above this line so you don't accidentally cut yourself, and you want to be mindful to keep the stone in contact with the blade. You don't want to come off of it and pull it to the side and everything. You want to go ahead and try and keep it on there as best you can, especially when you start getting down to the finer grits. Look, sometimes you're gonna pull it off. I've done it quite a few times already here. But just be mindful of it and try to do it as least as possible. Now once you've reformed this tip a little bit, you'll be able to feel this medium one now dragging. And we're really gonna wanna do it until it feels smooth on there. Now with that medium grit, the apex of the tip of the blade is starting to polish down a little bit. It was very, very rough, and that's what we want. We want to, we just want to keep it going until it feels smooth with this stone. All right, I do believe we are ready to move on to the next one. Yeah, we're getting an edge on this thing. And we'll keep working it down. Now, a lot of people would tell you need to put your finger under this to avoid this slack in this hole up under your pin right here. But what I find is that once you put just a little bit of pressure on the end of this stone, this pin will rise up and contact the top. So you're gonna have the same angle all the time, with or without holding it with your finger. Okay, this blade is really starting to feel much, much better. I'm telling you, this thing was ready for the garbage. And I mean, it still looks like hell, but it's got rust all over it. But this edge was really pitted up and really in bad shape. And it is really getting much, much nicer. Oh yeah, we're getting the edge on this thing. It's gonna turn out really nice. Like I said, this is the first time I've used this Lansky, or this Lansky period at all. But the first time I've used any Lansky sharpening system in 25, 27 years or so. So it's really quite simple. The guide is just, it makes it so nice to know your angles, and then after that, you're just taking metal off the blade till it's sharp. That's all we're doing. And it's really starting to get very, very smooth. Now it's taking some time. I think maybe in the future, if I were to take a bunch of old knives like this and try and restore, Lansky does make a diamond extra grit stone that is made for that. And it would probably took a lot less time than this wet stone. The wet stone, now, you guys saw, I worked it for a good 15 minutes or so, really. I worked it for quite some time, but it did take all the burrs out. It just takes a little more time. And I believe the diamond stone, the extra grit diamond stone, would probably be much faster. And then I would come back and continue with the wet stone. I've used diamond stones in the past, and they're really good. I've got no issues with them. But a wet stone to me is just as good. Now, what you want to do is you want to look down the blade of the knife and make sure it is getting polished, which it certainly is. This is gonna work out really well. This knife will be back in. My wife would be able to put it back in the kitchen if she wanted to. I don't think she's gonna want to, but she certainly could after this. All right, I think we're gonna put the finishing stone on it, the fine one, and we'll see if all this work has paid off. This is really gonna polish that blade down, gonna make it shiny. Oh, oh, my stone came out. Oh, that's no good. I have to put some epoxy in there. There's a brand new kit. All right, let's see what kind of good. See what kind of good we did. Let's clean that oil off that blade. Feels pretty good. Let's see if it'll. Well, let's go ahead and put it on a Strop. So let's take a look at this thing. It's definitely got a nice polished blade to it. So we're going to put it on a Strop. Let's start now with the Strop. We want to drag it backwards, and we want to go in at a very shallow angle, even shallower than we did with our stone. And we want to be mindful not to raise the knife up as we get to the end of the Strop. We want to keep it down. Keep it at a very shallow angle. Okay, this thing's feeling really good. So, we started with a dull pitted knife that was honestly fit for the trash can, and I would say 15 or 20 minutes later, we're going to do the paper test. Let's see if this thing will cut paper. Oh, wow. Even better than I could have imagined. Guys, this knife is sharp. Oh yeah. So, kitchen knife, 17 degrees, just a little bit of time. This thing is ready to go back in the kitchen drawer. If I would actually wash it up and make it look good. But this blade is repaired, I'm gonna tell you. And there was no wizardry involved. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna put that aside. And I've got two pocket knives here. I've got a brand new little Benchmade that I love. And I've got an Old Faithful buck knife. And they both need just a little bit of work. Neither one of these will cut paper, I don't think. No, that one won't. So neither one of these will cut paper. So we're gonna get these knives sharp as well. So I'm gonna show you that the Lansky, not only will it do a longer kitchen knife, it'll do a good regular size pocket knife and also a little mini bug out as well. Before we go any further, see that little beard down there at the bottom? Go ahead and hit on that little beard, and you can subscribe to Everyday Man, and you can see what kind of content I'm putting out on a regular basis. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take my Old Faithful buck knife that I've carried for years and years, and we're gonna get to doing that. But now we're gonna be moving on to the 20-degree angle. And now we'll be a little higher, so I got a little more clearance. I'm gonna go ahead and take this screw out and replace it with the thumb screw that came with the set. Should be pretty easy to do now. So let's get this knife set up in here. All right. Now you get that screw good and tight. And go ahead and tighten this thumb wheel as best you can. Now we've got it in there. Now, as I said, this knife is not nearly in the bad of shape. I use it on a regular basis, but it's not pitted up. It's the blade itself is not damaged. So we're gonna start right here with our middle stone, and we're gonna go to 20 degrees. And we're just gonna hit this a few times. We're gonna hit it, we're gonna work the blade 10 times on each side, then we'll go down to 5, and then we'll go down to the next one. It really should get it sharp pretty quick. All right, so now we're gonna move down to the next one. Like I said, this one should go quite easy. This one shouldn't take more than a few minutes of your time. Your regular pocket knife, something that's not damaged, really shouldn't take a whole lot of time. All right, let's see what we're looking like. Oh yeah, we're getting a blade on it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go to the fine stone that keeps falling out. Oh, that's why we do these product reviews, right? So I will email a link to this video to Lansky, and I'm sure if I would reach out to him and ask for another stone, I would have to imagine they would give me one. Like I said, this thing's brand new. But I'll let them know what happened. They might watch, they might not. Gotta be careful with that one. All right. Let's go ahead and clean this blade off. Let's do the thumbnail test. Oh yeah, the knife's sharp. Knife is very sharp. Now we're gonna hit it on this stroke a few times, and it's not gonna take much. This stroke really is not very abrasive at all. And we are just simply trying to polish that blade as much as possible. Now, with the stroke, you always have to pull away, otherwise you'd be cutting into your leather. All right, I think that's about all it takes. Oh yeah, this thing is sharp. All right, you saw before it wasn't cutting paper. Let's try it now. And it definitely cuts paper. No problem. Will it shave arm hair? Oh yeah, it will. Yep. Shave arm hair. And just to show you all different size blades it will do, I'm gonna put this Benchmade in here. This Benchmade is sharper than that buck knife was. It's not cutting paper. I'll show you that again. It is not cutting paper, but it's pretty sharp. But we're gonna go ahead and get this thing put in here. All right, we've got our knife in here. We're gonna start again on the medium blade, the green one. We're gonna go to 20 degrees, and we're gonna do the same thing we did with the buck knife. All righty. Let's go ahead and get it out of the holder. Loosen up that thumb wheel. And that's it. Let's clean this blade off. Yeah, we got another sharp knife. Go figure. And just a couple of times, man, it really doesn't take much to polish this thing with this stroke. And let's see, can we shave hair with it? Oh, absolutely. Now will it cut paper? Let's see. Like butter, man, like butter. She is a sharp knife. No question about it. So, we can go from a big old wore out kitchen knife. Now this took some time. I did have to work on it for quite a few minutes, but it is very sharp. We can do a large pocket knife with it, and we can go down to a mini bug out. It'll do pretty much anything. And even if you have a serrated blade, you can buy the stones for the serrades. They're round and you can get in there. Now, as far as the kit goes, I'm gonna have a link in the description. The kit's about $70. And this little stand, I think, is a pretty nice little accessory, and it was like 15 bucks. Now, the fact that my stone here is falling apart, I'm not exactly excited about, but I would say it's definitely not a deal breaker. A little epoxy will hold it in there. And like I said, I will let them know that it came out, and I'm sure there will be no issues. So guys, there is no wizardry involved in sharpening a knife. You're simply taking metal off till you get a nice sharp point on a blade. And it's really a really easy way to do it and stay consistent, because that is the key to sharpening a knife is consistency. And this Lansky, the way it's separated with the angles is really what gives you the consistency you need to get your knives razor sharp. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and until I see y'all next time, this is Corey with Everyday Man.